I just wanted to talk a little bit today and kind of tell a story. I'm going to make a bunch of videos telling stories about me, kind of introducing myself and kind of where I came from and what I'm up to now. So today I'm going to tell a story about this fella named Bob. I met Bob 2 years ago, and when we first met, he had this horrible property, this just terrible piece of land, and it had this trash like you wouldn't believe. It had car parts, and it had whole axles of cars and doors and bikes and refrigerators and stoves and everything you can imagine, just trashed. They had this little cabin that was just falling apart, and I told him, look, let me rent that cabin from you for a year, and in a year I'll refinance it with you, and I either make payments or I'll buy it from you. So we went on and we started out. I started paying him for this 2 years, and at the end of it I said, okay, now instead of me paying, because he wanted me to pay a really long loan, so I said, let me pay you a short time loan for higher money. And he said, yeah, let's do it. We did a deal, and before you know it, I'm making payments to him every month. So for 2 years, instead of mailing in my payments, I told him, I can't do it that way. I got to come bring you cash. I have some problem with my bank and I need to bring you cash. So I was bringing him cash every month to pay for these 2 properties, and what he didn't know is he was, without his knowledge, mentoring me, because I'd ask him all kinds of questions. I knew that he had 100 of these acres and he was out doing this business. He's been doing it for 40 years, and he'd tell me a little bit about it, about how he'd been doing it. And I started to just ask him questions and tell him my dreams and tell him my goals and what I wanted to do. And before you know it, he was straight up mentoring me. I was getting like an hour mentoring service every single month. And then every time I'd have a question, I'd call him in the middle of the month. And he's an 84-year-old guy. He's really smart. He loves to take his cruises. He takes like a month or 2 month long cruises every single year with his wife. And I don't know if you know how much a 2 month cruise costs, but it costs a fortune. He's been doing really, really well for a really, really long time. So my whole point in telling you this story is, you know, you don't have to go out and go on the internet or go hire somebody to be like teaching you or mentoring you. You can do it that way, but you can find people who you're connected with in some way. There's got to be somebody that you're connected with in some way. Or if you do a little business with them, or somebody that you know through a friend, somebody you can get connected to, spend some time with them as much as you can. And I encourage everybody who's trying to build a business or build themselves, find some elderly people and spend as much time with them as you can, because there's no other way on earth for them to get the knowledge than to have spent this time on earth and be able to give you that knowledge. You'd be surprised. You find some older folks, they would love to give you knowledge. All right, aloha.